Donnie, I kind of know how your week was. We were basically talking during the first part of the first games in the early window, and the 1 o'clock games at the end there, and into the 4 o'clock games, and it was just wild and nutty with the defenses. And it's not even to say like, oh, we shouldn't expect it, or defenses don't influence games. They definitely do, but there were so many. It was so unpredictable. It was happening on special teams as well as traditional defenses. We saw a lot of blowouts. So it was a overwhelming amount of football in very unique ways, and so I could tell why you were exhausted in the end of the 1 o'clock window. It was just a very odd week. Obviously, we didn't hit on some stuff. That's not so much the problem or the point. Like, we basically just want to keep our receipts honest and open. And one of those things is what we have presented on the screen now, which is our spread picks updated by yourself. Like, if people don't know, this is kind of your brainchild. So what was your idea between having us do the spread picks? Because I do think it was a great addition to our show. What do you get out of it?
We get a lot of good games in. I feel like we talk about games that we like.
Yeah.
Generally, they have a good fantasy upside, especially that lock. Where generally, that lock usually is a game where if we all feel strongly about something, we can get on something generally from that game.
I agree with that. Actually, that's a good transition.
And it's a good tiebreaker as well. As it's right there. What are the spread picks for the season? Get Super Bowl captain. Gov's a 2-time back-to-back champ on that.
Yeah.
Everything's going the same as always. I start out super hot. Gov starts out a little slow. Gov will get all of his data by the end of the year, and he'll come back and somehow win it. That's been the trend.
Most likely, unless I pull the wild card, which I mean, like that's just me. If you know me in real life, I mean, obviously these guys are my real life friends. I'm an all or nothing guy. Like I build lineup very similar to how I bet. Like I either hit everything or I lose everything week to week. But I actually think it's a good thing we pulled it up this week, and it's a good talking point from last week. Everyone wanted to talk about like, oh, how do we play the Bears Cowboys game differently, or like they wanted to have this big stand on the game, Donnie. And I think you brought up a good point about the games and just like having an opinion on it. I think so many people wanted to make a stand on that game or to make a point about that game that they forgot to talk about that game honestly. And obviously injuries ended up influencing it with CeeDee Lamb. Injuries really ruled a lot of that day. I mean, James Conner going out affected the Cardinals offense. We saw Najee Harris go out. I mean, there was a lot of injuries. Mike Evans went out. This week was defenses and injuries. That's what I will remember from this week.
This is honestly, and I truly mean this, probably the worst week of football I've ever watched in my life. It's so to me, any special teams touchdown, generally speaking, is sloppy by somebody. Somebody made a mistake.
Yeah.
So many defensive scores. 9 touchdowns on defense on special teams this week. You saw the Rams get blocked twice off of that's the Rams not having a good interior line right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's backups playing on the interior line, and 2 of the best defensive tackle, easily the best defensive tackle in the league, stepped up and made plays. I think they had a blocked one in the playoffs last year too. So that's 3 blocked field goals Eagles Rams so far in the past 2 games they've played.
I was going to say
that's a trend.
There are some structural trends that we need to start paying attention to and speak to a weakness. Like, yeah, sure, these things are rare in the outlier, scheme of seeing blocks and seeing defenses have that much overpowering influence over a slate. But we're also seeing a problem with some of these defenses just giving up a lot of points. So I do think there is some data to take from it as Gov comes in here as well.
Yeah, I think this week was probably the sloppiest week of football I ever watched. Like you said, I was exhausted by it. That's one thing I hate is sloppy football. I just hate watching any game that's sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
And I got exhausted because it felt like that whole 1 o'clock sway, especially watching the Patriots-Steelers game that it had 7 fumbles.
Even the high-scoring Philly-Rams game was a slog. I will give you that.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah. Every 1 o'clock game just grinded. It seemed like it grinded into nothing. Everything was. Like every 1 o'clock game should have had the same score as Arizona San Fran. They should have all been 15-16.
And
You
it
just
was
had random defensive touchdowns everywhere, giving people scores. It's the only reason
Anyway.
teams even got 20 points in some of those games.
I got fed up with it. I want to just watch week 3. I don't take much of the data from like the defensive end. I feel like if you didn't play one of the 4 20-point defenses, you really weren't in a good spot this week. And then you play CD Lamb.
It wasn't
Like-
even that. I would take it like the same sort of thought, but the other way. It's not that you needed one of the 4. It's that even the Vikings with 30, you could have gotten it done with any of 4 or 5 other defenses who also had like 15 to 20.
Right,
you didn't
right.
need the 30-point That's crazy to me, is that you didn't actually need 30-point defense. Like when we go and look at our lineup, we can look at the top 10 in that tournament. I bet you the Vikings will not be in every single lineup.
They were only 4% owned, I believe, Goff, to your point.
Not only were they low owned, but even those 4% weren't the top 4% immediately.
If you played a bad defense, if you played a defense that scored a regular 6 points, you were pretty much cooked this week. And
if you played a defense like I don't know, maybe you
the
played
Bengals,
the Raiders or the Jets, or what was the other one? There was a defense that got negative points.
it was
The
the Bengals,
Patriots.
the Bengals or the Patriots, one of the two.
I think the Raiders were the same way.
Yeah, it was the Patriots. They got -2. I actually know that because I played them.
Yeah,
I played the Patriots defense and the Bengals defense this week. Yeah.
But
yeah,
you're right.
so I
like,
don't.
like you
everything
could
was
have played cheap Panthers. You had Minnesota. You had defensive touchdowns on like 3 different teams. It was
It was 9 defensive and special teams touchdowns in the actual DFS slate.
I'll let you continue.
And I'm just thinking about the slate. I completely forgot how like 2 different games ended with like blocked field goal touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Crazy.
spread picks review. We didn't really do one last week, but I'm in the lead at 5-1. Thank you, Chiefs, for saving me a little bit. First time they've covered a 6-point spread, probably in 2 years at this point. Logan, good week, brings him up to 3-3, tying him with Gov, who also went 1-1. 3-3, you guys. 1-2. Walk of the week is coming back,
The
baby.
show
We're
pick
2-2.
has won.
Now we're in a rhythm.
Oh, this is where I said grind it. 1 becomes 2, becomes 3.
Before you got in, though, Donnie was talking about how he loves doing the spread picks before we do the lineup builder show because it gets us talking about the games and the game environment that we like. Because we all come at it from different angles and like we like different things about DFS and just like strategy building. And so like I'll throw it to you. Like, what do you think we gain most from doing the spreads? Because I don't see a lot of people doing like a combination of a builder show. They're like either hyper focused even on GPPs or like cash builds. So many of these shows are so hyper niche now. I feel like kind of having that casual builder show on Saturday is very valuable.
I do too. Like it's one of the things that I like. Like you say, outside of my DFS, I plan for that, like completely separately.
Yeah.
Even though it's all the same stuff. But I have to plan for not just me building lineups, but I'm building your lineup. You're building my lineup. That's one of the things I love about the builder. And it sort of works that way with our props because we don't pick the same one unless we go against each other. We totally can go against each other, but we wouldn't all have had if we wanted to, I'm sure we all would have taken like Chargers -3 or whatever, like last week. We were all taking the Vikings -3. We were all taking the Lions +4.5. Like, I know we all like that bet. So, like, but no, I like the way we do things. It causes us, when we're talking to each other, to think about other things. That if I were just building my lineup or setting the parlay, I wouldn't think about those things.
Yeah, and I would challenge anyone, like the way we do it too, where we draft and then we review it and like, hey, is there anything we want to do with this money? I would challenge anyone to do that, whether you're building with a group or building by yourself or just listening to good content. have your initial thoughts, get them out there, put them on, actually make the clicks, and then force yourself to go back and say, wait a minute, is this actually the best way to build this? Like, even if you had a core and you said, I want to play Worthy and Patrick Mahomes, and I use those examples because I know they didn't influence the slate. Even if that was your core, it's like, okay, I could have those two guys, but is there a better way to build around those two guys? I think that's a very valuable exercise that we do. Are we ever going to be positive, though, when it comes to these spread picks? I don't think have we ever been positive, Donnie, as a show?
We've been 500. You have it right there if you go to 24, and 23 is not as pretty, but
you do keep track of the data quite well.
That is a 3-year data set.
That is last year for the people, because I know we do have
our 2020 picks. As you can see, I won.
Yeah.
Game or two, just barely. Donnie had a solid season too, at 21-14-1.
Now we do come to the UFL, and Birmingham, they were what, almost back-to-back champs. So we got to stop Gov from being like a three-peat here. We can't have a dynasty.
You're Kansas Citying it this year, Gov. Sorry.
But again, but then we look at us. It's like, okay, but we were all above 500. Okay, I was Kansas City. But it's not like you guys aren't Buffalo and Baltimore being 500 in the playoffs at the same time. Okay, all right, just calm down. You guys are still really good too. All right. The problem is when we come together, apparently we're Pittsburgh.
So, Gov, the other point is Donnie was saying that he was just tired of football. I won't even say like you were sick of it, Donnie. You just felt exhausted after that 1:00 game. Like we were calling each other.
Watching Red Zone, they were slog of games. I was waiting for a good game to go off. I'm like, I want these 4:00 games to start going off.
Yeah.
And that really didn't even happen. We didn't get a great game, I don't think, until even Monday Night Football was an awful game.
Monday Night Football was a weird. I'll give you that, because Detroit ran it so much. It was still a slog of a game. It's just Detroit put up 30-something points running it that much.
Mm-hmm. But they also
I never felt like Baltimore was going to win that game. There was maybe at halftime, but second half, Detroit.
It was tied 7-7, and I'm like, Baltimore's the one who's down in this game.
Yeah.
Interesting, because I didn't think the Lions actually had control of that game until the Henry fumble.
That was the game changer. From that point on, it wasn't just, okay, Baltimore has to respond. It was, okay, Baltimore needs to do a lot. They're way down. They need to trick. They need something.
Yeah.
It went from a close game there where Baltimore was down here to, oh, Baltimore, you need to do something to jump back up. And it just kept getting worse. Like Detroit, like last year, they just grinded them away.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did to every team in the regular season.
Josh did comment about the Falcons defense as well. 3.2, and they only got 3 points. It was just a weird week. I mean, Falcons defense, the Falcons whole team didn't show up Sunday, let's be honest.
I'm a Panthers fan, so it was an amazing game.
Yeah, I can't wait to dig Bryce Young back into his grave next week as a Patriots fan. But
I haven't looked at.
It's funny because I'm kind of wanting to stack Bryce Young this week.
Oh, good. So I'll just play the Patriots defense. We'll go opposite on spread picks, and I'll just reap all the benefit.
I was about to say, I think half the week I just gave it away. I'm so sorry, everyone in chat. Oh, God.
Johnny, don't play too big of a villain here, because we have a lot of Bryce Young bags in our best ball.
Yeah, I know.
Our Millie team lost Najee. Don't remind me about that. Oh.
Yeah, but we have a lot.
I didn't even want him in the first place because of this.
We have a lot of Junkins, and we have a Daniel Jones team. So a lot of our dart throws have paid off. I know Gov doesn't like to sharpen those darts just yet, but
not every dart is paying off. We clearly hit a 20 or two, but there's also a stray every once in a while that we've seen so far.
There's definitely some of those, like JJ McCarthy.
I have no Najee in all my personal stuff, so the only little bit of Najee I had was in our Millie team. So I can show that.
But
All right.
you know what really drives me nuts about this week? It isn't so much that the defenses went off and I just didn't have any of the really good defenses. I can live with that. That's a result thing. It's like, okay, maybe where did I get wrong? Was it a process mistake? Was it something I did wrong? Like Josh was talking about, he might not know my process, but what really irritates me is like we didn't even have. It wasn't even like a wide receiver and a quarterback. It wasn't a stack that went off. It wasn't a game environment where I'm like, oh, I can take this into next week, because sometimes like when a quarterback and a wide receiver go off, I think like, oh, is this real or is this just like a fluke or is this luck or is this something I can build off of? I don't know if I can take anything from this week's games defensively, like, or is the takeaway like to expect that we're going to get more blowouts and more one-sided games? Like, I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know what to do with the results from this week, and that's what I find most frustrating.
Yeah, it's just a weird week of football. Can you show us our lineup?
I can.
I don't even know where we were at.
We had a
line-wise?
Terry touchdown where he got like an 60-yard or whatever it was.
Hey, listen,
pass.
Forcing you guys into that Mariota stack.
He almost had, like, if he catches that touchdown, him and Mariota are better than what they are. Like, McLaurin has an extra like 6.5 points on top of what he has. Like, you tell me McLaurin has 17 and Mariota has 24 or 25. We did the right thing. Now, wrong Vegas, bring back.
Listen, I've been on this for so long, and I was begging Logan not to play him pretty much all week or bet on him. It's not even Genty. I think Genty actually looks super special. I think he's going to be awesome.
He's getting the work.
But Donnie, that's why. But that's why I want to play him. Like, I will play the specialness and the talent, the volume. I will play that even if it isn't working because I see the talent and the volume.
Dude, the offensive line is not going to be there. The offensive line is not getting any better. It was awful last year. They were 31st in run blocking last year. Guess what they're going to be this year? 31st again, and Genty's going to suffer.
I don't care. As long as he keeps dropping in price and he's got that talent and that upside, he could be playing for a high school offensive line.
Listen, 6,400, I would play him. I would play him at 6,400.
Exactly. So I mean,
like, I'm not in dispute because he is actually special, but.
Yeah.
Like, even with a bad offensive line, he's getting the work. Like, there's something to be said about whatever the coach was saying, where it's like, in basketball, they call it load management. Well, he's still getting 20 touches a game.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's passing work, sometimes it's not. So, like, I'm fine with playing Genty until he gets that breakout. If he's going to be 2% like he was, that was not horrible to me. Now, you could have also played a 2%, 1% Trey Tucker, and he's the dude who got all the touchdowns.
Yeah. Which a streaking wide receiver, or a wide receiver that catches a long bomb pass, is exactly the opposite. It's like the antidote to a run game. So that's the same argument you get with like Jameson Williams and like David Montgomery, how they don't correlate well together. So we got the wrong end of that, but I think Donnie has a point. Like, that offensive line, we might have been lucky to get 63 yards with that offensive line. I do have to mention, because I do have red zone, so I want.
And what was the cash line?
I think
down to the left.
Yeah, we were
I
close.
see that.
I mean, CD is the difference.
So the cash line was 40% CD. Is different. I was about to say, like, we would have still needed 30 from CD for this lineup to cash.
Well,
but like, there's still a lot right. Like, the Seahawks defense wasn't horrible. Puka, great play.
Yeah.
Sub 15%.
We did pivot off air because of the Tucker Kraft news.
Yeah.
So we did pivot from Luke Musgrave to Taylor.
Yes.
And I actually was going to pivot off the defense, which probably would have been a mistake given how you had to be right about defenses. Funny enough, though, the most expensive defense on the slate would have been the worst one at the Packers. So, like, that's what I was saying earlier. I don't even think it's a lesson where it's like pay up at defense, because if you paid all the way up to the Packers, I think they were one of the worst defenses, price per dollar to pay for.
Yeah.
Well, one of the very unfortunate things, because I pay for a Sunday ticket, I have a luxury to do it. It's kind of my edge, I guess you could say, because I watch so many games, is not only did we lose CD basically for the entire game, which would have changed the slate. That obviously changes Roma Dunze's usage because, presumably that game's at least more of a shootout. But then, secondly, we mentioned Terry McLaurin. He missed that whole fourth quarter. It wasn't just that he missed that touchdown. Because he was reaching out for that touchdown, he sat out the rest of the game because they had the Raiders baseball under control. So this game is in the margins. It really is. You don't win a lot in this game. It's when you win, you want to maximize your price. And I do think if things would have maximized in our direction, this lineup doesn't look bad. Like I'll share with you a transparent moment in the Ravens Lions game. They were winning that game. I saw an opportunity to double my profit. It didn't work out. I took the Lions to not lose that game by more than 14 points. Assuming that this is right after the Lamar Jackson sack, I thought the game was over. I'm like, the line's still up. I'm going to smash this. So I took all the profit I made, and I bet the Lions to cover the 14 points. The very next second, they catch that screen pass with Justice Hill, and he runs for like 65. But you know what? I pressed the button. I took the profit, and so this week I break even. Like I live with the results. I've always been, honest about that. And this week we had a lot of snowflakes in our lineup, but I don't think it was bad process snowflakes. But I also don't want to just cope the whole time and act like I would have made different decisions.
This lineup could have been amazing. Like we ate a chalky mini stack that just didn't hit. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of other chalk that did hit. Mason chalk hit, most of the running backs. But it was a very weird slate where everything ended up being condensed to a few spots.
Yeah. Well, even coming into this slate, I mean, Donnie was with us last week when we did our kind of private Discord channel where we all get together, all these experts, we get together and we have a chat. This week, it was the lowest turnout I think we've had. It was just no one, it felt like an off week to me. I wanted to generate energy. It was just hard. It was.
Agreed.
Is there anything this week, just any random thing this week that happened that you think we can take into next week?
I like that Jackson Dart is not minimum price. I love that. And I'm going to play him because I like cheap quarterbacks. But as soon as Donnie told me the news, I just assumed he was 4K. And it doesn't sound like a big difference, but he is 4,500. I do think
he's been hovering 47 all year.
Is he? Well, that's good, though, because I do think even that extra $500 makes it more of a strategic play. And I think that benefits a guy like me who likes starts and scrubs, because if you make it too easy, it makes the conversation kind of stale. And I think that's what last week was. We had so many 4K quarterbacks. It was like you either played one or you didn't. And there was just no marginal conversations.
I have one stack that I think I'm going to just hammer all week because of last week. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I think there's reasons they would already have wanted to play well, and now we're adding on it after a loss of just an awful offensive showing against what looks like the worst secondary in the league. I think Jordan Love this week is probably my favorite stack. Not looking at prices, just Jordan Love with whoever the hell else. That might be one of the few times. Yeah, that might be one of the few times I do double stack and not have a bring back.
We have seen a lot of revenge narratives working out this week. Obviously, they play the Cowboys, so there's that Parsons, emotional energy. And part of that's brought on by Jerry Jones. So whether the Cowboys want it or not, they're part of it because he's openly saying he's not going to honor, Parsons. He doesn't want any part of it. So we saw with the Lions, when they were highly motivated with the Bears, people playing with emotions this year does seem to pay off. So I understand.
And good team off a loss is always something I like. And Packers looked really awful offensively. I think they're just going to come out pissed.
That's a good point, though. I want to carry over that, Gov. Is there anything this week where you're just really pissed, or any energy that you got from last week where you're like, I want to do this next week?
Everything I'm looking at, right now, go to the lineup that won this tournament.
Okay, go to first place?
Go to first place.
I can do that.
We're 3 weeks in. What do we have here? we have the chalky stack of Caleb and Odunze with a bring back of Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nothing crazy there. You have Chalky Mason and Chalky Taylor. Okay, nothing crazy there.
Mm-hmm.
You get a slightly low on Puka. Great play. We knew it would happen. You played the other chalk in Walker, and you hit on the defense, correlating it with your running back. The chalkiest of the three.
Yeah.
You have one low-owned play. And it's a random from the Washington-Vegas game that was also being played by many people.
Yeah.
Now,
the low defense.
if this guy would have just played Trey Tucker instead of Jacoby Myers in this lineup,
but he probably was never going to do that.
He would have destroyed, but he didn't need to. He still wins without doing that.
That's a good point.
Not only did there a line, and like I said, you can look at the top 10. One of these lineups in the top 10 won't have the Vikings. Guaranteed.
Go through it. Let's test the theory, Logan.
Let's test the theory. Keep going down until we find without the Vikings.
Right there.
Boom. Done. Negative point defense. But he had the right Vegas guy.
By the way, this is the perfect thing that Logan would do. Like I would do, speaking third person. Just pay down for a cheap defense in a game that most people are not going to want to play defenses because everyone's going to pay up for the upside shootout.
This is the craziest thing ever. You stacked Caleb and Odunze, but then played the defense against them.
Yeah,
that's
awful.
crazy.
Honestly, just awful.
Absolutely awful. That's why this person deserves. Just off that, he went negative 1 point. He lost by less than 2 points.
Yeah, no, honestly, he could have played the cheapest defense on the slate and probably won.
That would have been like the Jets or the Panthers, and he would have crushed. He would have won this tournament by 10 points.
It was the Panthers or the Browns were the cheapest.
But
this is a bad process play. Completely.
The exact same sort of lineup. Like Caleb Odunze, his bring back was the defense instead of Ferguson for whatever freaking reason. Then he got himself a mini from the game that was kind of chalky in the afternoon with McBride and McCaffrey. Played the right low-owned Vegas Washington guy, and a random top flight wide receiver in Njigba who had a really good game. That's his Puka. His Puka is Njigba.
And look, we can all go to the casino and we can go there for different reasons. Maybe this guy wanted to play slots and he just wanted to go with a lucky lineup. He thought it was cool. He liked the names. Maybe his mom built the line. Who knows? Those lineups always win too, but they just don't win that often.
But
this just feels like the Cowboys were the most expensive defense he could afford, and he just plugged it in because they were there and didn't think about it.
Probably.
Yeah, I'd have to see what the salary is to see if he even spent all of his money.
Right, but that's just what it feels like.
My whole point of going up here is through 3 weeks, these lineups that are winning tournaments are not anything crazy. What are we talking about when we talk about lineups and correlation? We're talking about stacks. We're talking about a mini stack of another game that you like. We're talking about high ceiling one-offs.
Yeah.
Correlating a defense with a running back right here. Boom. That's a monster one. Colts with Taylor.
That's huge. Well, I mean, we talked about about
every single lineup seems to be that this year. It hasn't really deviated from that. So that's what I take away from this week that I can move forward.
Just do the basics, but do them as
the basics are working. There's no reason to get super cute. We know what works, and we can walk through it. The process works.
Yeah.
And we're building lineups like this. We can hit this.
Let me be honest about this lineup. This lineup is terrible at construction, but he did get unlucky in one way. Maybe more than one way, depending on how much we want to break it down. But
what would you say is terrible about it? What's wrong with it?
He got very unlucky that Jackson Smith the Jigba only got 20 points. Well, no, what's wrong with it is he plays his stack goes against the defense. That to me that just
he has the weirdest bring back on his stack by doing the
Yeah.
defense with his stack. That's not something
Right,
I ever
that's
really
it.
was like. But it's the weirdest bring back. And to be fair, that San Fran Arizona game didn't do anything, so he got bailed out by a McBride touchdown at the end.
But though these lineups are going to beat me on weeks that weird things like special teams has such a factor in in games. Like I know a lot of people playing underdog, and most of the underdog takeaway for like DFS purposes, like a lot of those review shows, were like, "Thank God there's no defense over here on this website." Like that was honestly the takeaway. It's like, thank God defense is basically taken away from our process.
Yeah.
And like I'm buying into the variance, but speaking of which, I was going to mention he got very unlucky with Jackson Smith the Jigba. Again, this is a game I watched a lot of because I think the Saints and whoever they're playing just goes underappreciated because usually those games are fun just from a chaotic standpoint. I think Jackson Smith the Jigba could have blown up. He only got 96 yards on 5 catches. Most of those catches were in the first half when the game was competitive. He got very unlucky not to get at least the 100-yard bonus.
To be fair,
he easily had 3 or 4 more points. I agree.
To be fair, Logan, this game was never competitive. It was 21-0 in the first 5 minutes. Like that game was never competitive.
No, but that's my point, Donnie. Maybe it was never going to be competitive, but we didn't like the run out of the points. I think is unlucky. Like
that first 5 minutes was so disgusting for the Saints, and that's the game I happened to be like turning on when all the 1 o'clocks, and I just was so done with football at that point.
But I'm saying, like, you expected Kenneth Walker to get a touchdown, or like Sam Darnold to throw at least 100 yards to Jackson Smith the Jigba to get that result. Like, I'm not surprised at the result. I'm just surprised at how the points came about. Well, that's a good transition, actually. How much do you think people will chase defense this week? Where like the DFS content will just be like, you have to play defense, Like, do you think people are just going to overvalue defense now, or do you think people will kind of do what we're doing, where it's like, oh, this is a good variance moment, but let's not read too much?
I think most people are going to say, we know that the Vikings are always going to be high priced, which they haven't given up points yet, really.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the Eagles are always going to be high priced, but let's be honest, they got there on blocked field goals. It's just a weird. Even the Vikings had 2 defensive touchdowns from the same player. Like, that never happens.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really think we did anything terribly wrong, but we didn't do anything great. Like, to me, this is a week where, like, yeah, we probably deserve to lose, but I don't think, like, I'm embarrassed. Like, a couple of times last year, I was embarrassed at the Lions we built. I haven't been embarrassed at all.
Another big news for rookie quarterbacks. Jackson Dart's starting, but Cam Ward has a new play caller, if you didn't see, Gov. They gave play calling to the QB coach.
Yeah, I hope that means more
his name. So yeah, Cam Ward may be I'm not going to play many Titans because I think they just, until Callahan gets fired, I don't think much is going on there. But
I will play Illuminor.
Interesting.
I will play him if he's still under 4K. I'll play him.
I kind of need to pick up Calvin Ridley in a league.
Yeah, probably play calling change, and eventually Callahan firing. I'm sure will be here before the end of the season.
That's a good call, though, because Don, usually when you see play calling, they do try to switch up the ratio, and we have been seeing them run very conservative with the running game. So you would at least expect them to try to air it out with Cam, which I think he can do. I just think for some reason they've been, like what I called earlier today, just babysitting him. I don't know why they're doing that, but they just seem to be nursing him.
I watched a video earlier on the Titans situation. It was just like, it's been 3 weeks in a row of Callahan probably making the worst decisions possible in just conservative or just stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it happened until late that night, but where Callahan had a 4th and 1, and it would have been a 57-yard field goal. The Colts called a timeout. Then he called a timeout, and he still hadn't made his mind up on whether he was kicking the field goal or going for it. So they got to delay a game and had to kick a 63-yard field goal that got blocked.
Yeah.
It's just awful coaching.
Speaking of the Colts and like just having good coaching and good chemistry, we see it with the Daniel Jones experience. this season, like when your coach believes in you and you believe in the system, it makes a world of a difference. So I don't know why they're not using a kind of Sean Payton approach where it's like, well, maybe he's not the greatest, but like what Sean Payton did with Bo Nix, he's got at least going to let him play his style of football. It just feels like they're handcuffing Cam Ward for what he could even be. Like they're just not even finding out, which is just a strange approach.
I mean, we've seen flashes of special already from Cam Ward, and
Yeah,
like, but
Flashes,
every time we've seen that is like he has to make a play because it's all broken. The whole play is broken. So
Yeah.
that's the only time we've seen. I don't know what else they can do. It may just be a talent thing. Maybe the offensive room isn't talented enough, but it starts with coaching.
Speaking of chasing trends and like volume and workload, I'm going to play some Chris Olave for first blush spot. I mean, these are kind of our first thoughts as well. He's just he hasn't seen a week, not a single week yet, under like 11 targets. We're not even talking 10. I think he's over 11 in all 3 games. So
I do wonder how long it's going to take for Rattler to have just that awful game where we have to see Tyler Shaw. But
well, that's what I'm saying is like if Shuck makes the game more competitive and gives Chris Olave even half of those targets, I think he's a great player. Like if you get 8 targets with Shuck and the game's closer, I don't know. I kind of want to buy into the Chris Olave hype, and I wasn't always on him, but I think I will
know.
be.
That offense has just been so bad.
It's rough. Like again, volume is there. I'm with you, Logan, but it's hard.
I had this argument with Logan off screen. It's hard to play somebody who has almost 0 touchdown upside just because we know the offense can't score.
Yeah, that's the pushback against. I mean, like
most 11 target receivers are, like a CeeDee Lamb who has super high touchdown upside. It's a Jamar Chase potential. Those kind of guys.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to get to.
It's kind of the James Cook argument, right? Where it's like, well, we don't even need James Cook to be great every week we play him because we do have him in best ball. It's like he's playing on the Bills. He has Josh Allen. They're going to be in the red zone more often than some teams. The higher equity touches are there for Cook, so therefore I like him. I get that.
I mean, he's like the one guy one of the few guys in the NFL to me who doesn't have much touchdown variance. I just kind of expect it. I expect him at the end of the year to have 15 touchdowns. It might be 3 in one game and 0 the next 2 weeks, but I know he has the touchdown upside.
I really do think my last topic of like looking forward to next week, I think that $500 is going to psychologically mess with a lot of people. And they'll be like, well, I would play Jackson Dart if he was 4K, but since he's 4,500, I won't play him. I don't know about you guys, but I do think salary kind of messes with people psychologically that way.
It will, but I think I'm going to just die on the Jordan Love hill this upcoming week. Maybe I'll change my mind as the week progresses and people talk me out of it. But I only play 4 lineups. I might just die on the hill.
I like that we have to merge our lineups, though, and we'll be open and admit, like, hey, I'm playing this guy in my personal. Like, my actual personal looked very similar to this. I played a lot of CeeDee Lamb and a lot of Roma Dunze and just didn't get there. I think one of the worst mistakes, just my last review point, though, is just, like, people didn't spend enough time thinking of, like, how does this game just hit the median? Like, the Chicago Bears Cowboys game, so many people were like, "Oh, are you playing it or are you not?" It's like, well, you can middle that. Like, you just don't play the chalkiest guys.
CeeDee Lamb getting hurt on a rushing play is the most annoying thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for just to forget week 3. Whatever. Get it out of my brain. There's a couple things, Patriots 5 fumbles, 2 from Ramondre. Maybe it's a Travion Henderson week. I'll wait to see more reports coming out of practice. But
he's cheap.
Those little
I've looked
things.
at pricing. I'm sorry, I usually don't, but I did.
I did too. Donnie told me the Jackson Dart news, and I couldn't help myself.
He's cheap.
And who, Henderson?
Yes.
What can you hint at how cheap?
In the low 5K range.
Oh yeah. I know the exact price. You want to know the exact price? He's $5,500.
No, Henderson. Patriots back.
Oh, I don't care about him because I'm playing Hampton.
Omarian's like
Below
58 or
5K
59.
for a running back that doesn't fumble after a team just had huge fumbling issues. That's so tempting. He had 11 carries last week. Oh,
Cam Scatterbo is 5,500, I think, as well.
I do love me some
Yeah,
Scatterbo. Tracy's out 2 to 4 weeks.
Yep,
See,
Scatterboo is playing, but Scatterboo.
So I do think this would be the running back
Scatterbo
night.
runs like he's trying to develop CPE, and that's what scares me.
I think there will be some chalky sub 6K running backs, but that just sort of means I'm gonna try to jam Barkley or McCaffrey into my lineup.
Which
What
is
if you
why
just
I'm gonna
jam
which is why
Henry,
I'm
who
gonna play
doesn't deserve
Dart,
to be played?
because Dart is exact leverage off of that running back slot. He opens up the running back slot to do that kind of thing and to play two high price guys.
I already know the real.
Are the Eagles Bucks on the next slate, or are
They
they prime time? Are they prime time though, or no?
No, they're on
They're
the
on. They're part of the 11-game Sunday slate. Yes.
How?
I know. What
I
are the?
hate
I don't.
the
Even, I'm
NFL.
trying to. What are the? We get Arizona and Seattle on Thursday, so they get all
The
that.
Monday night game sucked. The Monday night game sucked.
Monday night games suck, right? They're like Houston
Yes.
and
I know
Denver plays a bum.
who plays in Spain?
That's the Vikings and the Steelers.
So we get rid of Bucky Wentz and Aaron Rodgers off the slate.
Thank God.
We get
I'm
rid
actually
of Gino and Kyler off the slate. No, don't have to worry. I'll have to worry about if I can captain Marvin Harrison Jr. in the showdown. Spoiler, no.
Here's the captain. Here's the captain decision though. Addison comes back though for the Vikings if you're playing showdown for that early game.
Apparently, we just need to captain their defense. Just captain the defense. Apparently, come on.
Hey, speaking
No,
of,
it's the Steelers. You have to captain like it's an Arthur Smith offense, so you captain like
Jonnu Smith?
Alvin Austin III.
No, Captain Jonnu Smith.
no, because of the kickoff
Yeah,
rules.
Jonnu could be a captain there.
Because of the kickoff rules and because people are just kicking longer field goals and even attempting them, we saw that with Dan Campbell trying to.
Oh yeah, just go captain kicker.
Kicker is starting to be more valuable. I wouldn't captain it, but definitely kicker is being more viable in the flex.
So,
Play the Vikings kicker, play the Vikings defense, and
what's the
that's
Sunday night game?
I don't know, but I will not be waiting all day for it. That's for sure.
We only have an 11-game slate, and I look. There's still 4 games in the afternoon, so that means we only get like 6-7 games.
It is a good Sunday.
No, we're not doing that tonight, Gov. We're not bringing that up. I heard enough of it from NFL broadcasts. 6-7. 6-7. Monday night is Bengals Broncos, which that sucks now. Packers Cowboys is Sunday night football. Jets Dolphins is Monday night football.
Okay, so that's Sunday night. The one good Sunday
Jordan
night
Love
game.
stack. No, my Jordan Love stack. No.
You can really stack
Looks like you'll have to captain Jordan Love, sir.
Yeah, you can really stack that game.
No.
I will say, this is just like, for people that play DFS, like, you guys, we know we're in the weeds a lot. So my mom's a casual, but she likes to watch the games with me sometimes. She gets so sad that I don't play David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs in like the same lineup because she's always trying to be supportive. So she's like, "What's your lineup looking like? Are you winning any money?" And I always tell her like I either play Gibbs or Montgomery sometimes, and she doesn't understand that I don't play both of them. So when I told her about the Monday night slate that you could play both running backs, she was elated. So Donnie, you can play all the Packers you want. It's just gonna be on the showdown.
We'll have to play one Cowboy.
So I will say, Eagles, Bucks, and Chiefs, Ravens also play this week, and we have to watch Jets, Dolphins on Monday Night Football, and also Sunday Night Football, Packers, Cowboys. That's so fun.
Yeah, so like all of the island games are kind of crap that you wouldn't want to like. I would love Miami to be on the main slate so I can attack them.
Yeah.
So like, but
I heard there was
honestly, I only have one parting word for my first look after looking at salary, and it's just like, you know what? just play Josh Allen.
You know what? That's not a bad James Cook, but I get it.
No, I thought I went around in that, so I'm like, you know what, James Cook, he's at 20-something points a game. He's been the dude. They're gonna destroy New Orleans. Everyone's gonna play James Cook. Let's just play Josh Allen.
That's fair.
Any last parting thought for you, Donnie?
No, primetime games are going to suck this week. Be ready to sleep at night. Enjoy the morning game, I guess. You can wake up early, go to bed early, because there's no point in watching that crap. And that's it.
Besides making money, honestly, though, guys, treat this like a chance to have fun and make some money if it's possible. But diversify your portfolio. This is a great time to try Showdown if you haven't, if you can do so responsibly. Because I'll be honest with you, I find the best edges in these early Showdown lineups because people don't wake up and fix their lineups. So obviously do it, responsibly. Take advantage of the tokens too. There's a lot of tokens for these one-off games because they want people to get up and watch them. So take advantage of all the bonuses and just all the people sleeping in. I know it happens because that happened a couple of years ago where a guy just slept in and didn't even set a lineup and was like, well, I'd rather just sleep than $5. So if you're a grinder, you can make some money this week. There you go. I think I'll watch it, but I'm a degenerate. So with that being said, good night, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Peace out. Play Josh Allen.
Well, Josh